Every country has a different economy. Nevertheless, the main functions of economy are similar. Some of the main functions of the economy are as follows. Remember DMDMD. D deciding the product and quantity. M minimize the production cost. D distribution of national income. M making provisions for the future. And D deciding the consumer. DMDMD. You know DND, no? Don't disturb. This is DMDMD. Okay, let's see the first three functions. Deciding the product and quantity of its production, one must decide what product must be taken for its manufacture depending on the population and the area of sale. If the area is big and the demand is more, then the quantity of the goods must be more. The demand of the product will also affect its manufacture and supply. Now, the want for gloves, masks, and thermometers is on the rise because of the corona pandemic. Thus, accordingly, we see so many traders and companies coming up with gloves, masks, thermometers, sanitizers, etc. Minimize the production cost as much as possible. Now, who doesn't like to buy goods at a low price? Everybody. When the producer makes a product, he will fix the price after he calculates the input of money and other elements he has put in to manufacture that particular commodity. Now, if the production cost is less, the cost price will eventually be very good. It will be less, of course. But if the production cost is more, then the cost price will also be more. In such a case, the customer will tend to buy a product giving the same usefulness but one which is sold at a lower cost. The best example of cost cutting is the example of Arunachal Muruganathan, famously known as Padman of India, who invented a low cost sanitary napkin in his native locality. Distribution of national income according to social and economic justice. Now, what is economic justice? Economic justice refers to creating an opportunity for each person to establish a sufficient material foundation in order to have a dignified, productive, and a creative life. In simple words, it should not be that the rich become richer and the poor become poorer. Thus, the private and the public sectors must allot a decent pay package, affordable prices, etc., so that every individual have the scope to develop. For example, we see so many variations in cell phones. Now, keeping in mind the socio-economic structure, we have smartphones, iPhones, as well as simple phones. At least the basic means of communication is possible for those who are not able to buy smartphones. Okay. Next function. Making appropriate provisions for the economic needs of the future. Now, we need to think about the future too, isn't it? Japan and many countries are working on robotics already. Had we ever thought of online sessions and online classrooms in India? No. Thanks to Google Meet, Zoom, and the IT fraternity, that these things are possible now. As we are living amidst the corona pandemic, so many pharmaceutical companies are working on the vaccine so that our present and future is secured. The next is deciding for whom the goods will be produced. Very important function. Now, will a company manufacturing air conditioners thrive in an area where people live below the poverty line? No, because ACs are really very, very expensive. So it's very important to decide for whom the goods will be produced. You should know who your consumer is going to be. One needs to focus on what product must be manufactured. The manufacturer must decide, is my product for the classes, only for the rich, or for the masses? So be a very good manufacturer. We come to a very important term in economics, which is globalization. The recent economic policies are taking the economy towards globalization. Now, what do we understand by globalization? For example, take Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola is an American-based company, but Coca-Cola is available all over the world. This is what is globalization. Global means available all over the world. The other examples are Nike, McDonald's, etc. So it is not that only the country which manufactures the product will make it available only in its own country for consumption. No, rather the product is available all over the world. Thus, globalization means building a world economy. The whole world becomes a market. World economy is a borderless economy in which natural resources, profit, services, capital, labor, and technology, all these flow freely across the borders of country. Globalization means aligning. Aligning means joining. So globalization means aligning, joining a country's economy with the world economy. Globalization aims at free trade, which means that there is smooth flow of resources, capital and labor without any border issues. Now, don't we have relatives or friends who work abroad? Yes. Very good example of free trade. And of course, globalization. Also, globalization aims at keeping aside restrictions on investment. Now, if a person has enough capital, he can invest in the country of his choice, but political sovereignty must be maintained. Now, this picture shows the size of the world economy dating to 2018. Here we see that America has the biggest economy of $20.49 trillion. The other countries following America are China, Japan and other countries. Now we, India, we have an economy of $2.7 trillion. But our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that we need to and will strive to make India a $5 trillion nation, and of course more than that. So we need to become Atmanirbhar and make India economically stronger. So let's make in India and buy in India. Thus, an economy strives to create a balance between limited resources and unlimited needs. Are we becoming greedy and tearing apart people, countries, and Mother Earth at large? Let's be human and learn the difference between spending to live versus living to spend. I hope you understood this chapter. Please read the textbook once again and stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you. Bye-bye.